Hi guys, it's Professor Green here with you today, and we're going to be talking about the discussion board and this really cool thing that I started using last quarter called Sway, and my students loved it last term, and it's something I want to continue with. I want to show you what it is. I know there are probably a lot of questions that you guys have about this CIQ thing and the Sway presentations and how I handle the discussion boards. But I like trying new things, and I think that these Sway presentations have been well received, and you guys will definitely have a chance to let me know what your thoughts are. But let me just show you what it is. So each week, about today, Thursday, or whatever, Thursday or Friday, I'll create a presentation. And man, you guys have posted a lot of posts to the discussion board for week one. But each week I'll create a presentation similar to this, and it's called Sway. And I'll put the link in the announcement area and in the discussion board area, so you can you're more likely to see it. But this is basically how it starts. So you see, and I can format it differently, but I chose to kind of go from left to right on this one for this presentation. But you can also go vertical and do all kinds of really cool things. But I try to put slides. I put pictures or slides or infographics with every quote that I see. I take notable quotes from your posts and make sure that I put your name and attribute that to you, so you know that I'm reading your work and that I value your work. And basically, I read everything you write and kind of post the thing that sticks out most to me. And you know what? It's just better if I show you. So here we are, week one, notable quotes. And then if you click on the image, like for instance, Martin Luther King here and his quote, you couldn't really see it, but if you click on it directly with your mouse, it'll enlarge, and then you can click out. And then let's go to the next slide. Here we go. So LinkedIn, and this was just a little message from me to you about LinkedIn and how you can connect with me. I'm pretty sure that this is a hot link, and you can click on that, and it should take you to my LinkedIn page. I encourage you to at least start a profile, building your profile there. It's definitely the way to find a job is through networking. And there's a networking assignment week 9 of this course. We'll talk about that later. But I think LinkedIn is a great way to introduce yourself to people, connect with people who are like-minded, and it's worth setting up an account and getting started. Okay, and next, the introduction. I am going to post this video here um, when I'm done with it, and so you can, I can come to you live here. All right, and then I have the objective. The students will investigate and research the SWAY presentation approach to the weekly discussion board, and you can share your thoughts with me on how you feel about approaching the discussion board this way. I just find that the discussions have been richer and you guys have been interacting more since I started doing this. But let me show you what it is. Okay, this week was all about the achievement gap, and this has this um, these bar graphs have information on black and white students in Pittsburgh and the achievement gap. And again, you can click on each of those, to see it a little bit more in depth. Now here we go. There's Mr. Multicultural. So Jones, all right, cited this powerful quote from Ramsey. I thought when I read the post by Jones, and I thought when engaging children and adults in multicultural work, we need to recognize that each individual's response to these initiatives reflects his or her unique experiences. So that was what stuck out to me this week from Jones. And then we go on. All right, a little thing about memorization without understanding. And this is from Schubert, and she said some children know all the answers to the questions due to memorization, and then goes on to kind of describe that in more detail. And then I use this as a lot of times, sometimes, not all the time, as a teaching point. Like I wanted to make a point or send a little message to Schubert to let her know, that what it's like a teachable moment. So in her quote, I'll just read it to you. Great point, Schubert, with your quote here about memorization. And you made another point in your post I want to address. So this was actually not, this teaching moment is not from the quote that I listed, but it was from another part of her post this week that stood out to me. And she mentioned how multiculturalism is largely thought of as race and ethnicity, and it goes beyond that. For example, even if you teach a school with 99% one race, there's still huge diversity in things such as gender, disability, sexuality, socioeconomic status, religion, etc. You have to factor all those things in. So I do use those to teach, and then use those posts to teach based on what what you write in the discussion board. So Curly wrote this, and you'll go, and I made another pointed note to Curly. And we go, and I'm just gonna kind of quickly go through this, but I just want to give you an idea of what this is like. And and like I said, my students really responded to this. They like seeing their name, and it's just kind of nice to see your work getting noticed. And at the end of the term, this is all going to be part of our final project. So you're not going to have a whole lot to do to put your final project. You're just going to have some legwork to put your final project together, but a lot of it's going to be done for you, and more to come on that later. So then I embedded a YouTube video in here, how to write a SMART goal, because Snyder was talking about a goal for her students, and you guys can watch that, because you're going to write SMART goals throughout your program. So why not introduce it now when the topic came up? Um, and then this is a little bit about, again, you can click on it, visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and learning styles. And Mihandru brought that up, and then I wrote a little note there. Oh yeah, and then there's a link to this is a hot link. You can go to this page and you can take a learning style quiz. What kind of book do you like to read for fun? A book with lots of pictures, a book with lots of words, a book with word searches and puzzles. So you can find out your learning style. And then if you Google, you know what? I'm just going to do it. If you Google, just go to Google, and then learning styles inventory for pre-K or K. All right. There's a ton, right? And there's one for parents that parents can do with kids. But you want to give them. I like this one. This kindergarten. I'll open this one up. I did this earlier. This kindergarten learning style inventory. You want to do this with your students so you know what kind of learner, how they prefer to learn. Learning styles are how they prefer to learn. That doesn't mean they always get to learn that way, but it's important to know how they prefer to learn. Okay, and you can fill this out. Obviously, they're in kindergarten. They might not be able to do this by themselves, so you would fill it out with them. I learn best when I see, hear, or do. And you listen to your kids' answers and let them, you kind of put all this evidence together so you know how they prefer to learn. I like quiet. Maybe some kids like to have their room totally silent when they're doing stuff. Other kids like me, I like a lot of noise when I'm doing work. So it's important to find this stuff out, and then you're going to have a better idea of how your students learn and what their preferred learning style is. And then there's a scoring guide, so you can kind of group these as visual, auditory, or kinesthetic learners. So, and and like I said, it's just because a student prefers to learn one way doesn't mean you're always going to teach that way, but it's important to know that. Okay, and then right now I think you get the picture. The Babysitters Club, Hernandez made a great point, and then I came back and made a little response there. But I think that what ends up happening, another thing that you have to do with this, and one reason why we're doing it this way, is because you have to develop your teaching philosophy or your philosophy of education. That's important and something you're going to want to put in a portfolio. So whenever you go and look for jobs at the end of this program, you can answer that question, and it's not unheard of to be asked, well, what's your philosophy of teaching? What's your philosophy of teaching and learning? And this helps put together your philosophy towards multiculturalism, towards teaching and learning, towards differentiated instruction. And whenever you put all of these quotes from week 1 to week 10 together, you really get a good picture of what your ideas are, your thoughts and beliefs are. So, all right, guys, I'm excited. I'm excited to hear what you think about this, and you'll have a chance to tell me. You can tell me anytime, but anonymously on the CIQ thing that I will put out very soon for this week. And it's anonymous, so you can say what you like. There's no pushback. Your honest opinion is what I really need. And I hope you're as excited as I am about this. So, all right, guys, have a great week.